Welcome back to Strictly Dr. Drew. Many Americans suffer from irrational fears, from clowns to cats, from bees to bridges. Phobias are the #1 form of mental illness for women and the second leading mental illness for men. Now imagine a life controlled by a phobia you can't see, touch, or taste. A fear that surrounds everything and from which there is no escape. Kyle Marinello is like any other ordinary college student, interested in sports, playing games on his computer, pool parties with friends, and not wanting to have to clean up the mess later. But ever since the age of 11, Kyle has had a secret fear, an all-consuming phobia that has turned his home, his family, even his skin into a zone of terror.
I was terrified of these made-up germs that I didn't even know what they were. Mostly with saliva, I knew that much. In order to make sure that myself and my surroundings stayed clean, washed my hands up to the elbow, eventually further up to the arm, and then it escalated to taking up to 2 to 3 showers a day. There was nothing too extreme for me, really. I would do whatever was necessary.
Kyle has a rare form of an obsessive-compulsive disorder, or OCD. It's called bacillophobia, a fear of germs, and they were everywhere.
Getting into bed at night became a ritual. I would have to walk at a sideways angle and kind of hop in. And if I messed up, I had to go over, and I'd been known to do things over up to 10 times.
His parents, Gail and Dennis Marinello, were frightened of what their son was becoming.
Because no matter what we tried, it just got worse. Within a couple-week period, he went from just washing his hands to having like 100 other things that he was doing. I mean, it was just where it started encapsulating his entire life.
We had people saying, well, I'd just tie his hands and I'd bust him over the rumpus with this. That would only make it worse.
Kyle's terror of germs even included an old antique chair in the living room.
It didn't necessarily have to be something that had germs on it. It could have just been something that had just been cleaned. But if it wasn't cleaned in the right way that his mind was telling him it had to be cleaned, then it wasn't clean enough and it was still contaminated.
Afraid that the chair would contaminate him, Kyle resorted to never going out the front door, preferring to go all around the house and hopping the side wall.
I felt I was going crazy, and I realized there's something really, really wrong here.
Finally, his hands cracked and bleeding. Kyle's obsessive cleansing rituals had gone too far.
At that point, they realized I was washing my hands way too much, and there was something to it.
His parents were desperate.
I was scared. I thought I'd lost him. I thought he's going to be institutionalized. It was like an impending doom. And no reasoning, no punishment, nothing would break this. We needed a miracle. We needed help, big time.
Driven by desperation, Kyle's mother began scouring the internet for answers. At first, the prognosis was very disappointing.
They could probably help him, but it would take at least 10 years of weekly therapy.
Then finally, she hit pay dirt, a site called Online Hope for OCD.
I thought, hope, yes, we need hope.
Online Hope for OCD was the brainchild of Dr. Ida Gorbis at UCLA in Los Angeles, California. She had developed a groundbreaking new treatment called exposure response therapy. Instead of 10 years, it was only going to take 5 weeks.
I just thought, okay, now I got a name for what it is I have, but it doesn't matter. I'm still going to do it, and I'm not going to let anyone stop me, because by this point it was so ingrained in my head. It was part of me.
For the parents, the 5-week program was the beginning of real hope. But for Kyle,
the first 3 weeks of treatment were complete hell. Dr. Gorbis would have me do what's called exposure response therapy. One of the things you would do would be touch that object with a cloth. They would end up putting it in my room, putting it on my bed, and I ended up having to sleep with it.
It's tough, because there was a point in the treatment where Kyle was banging his head on the floor. He wanted to be dead.
But eventually, Kyle's fear of germs began to leave him, and and after only 5 weeks, he was well on his way to getting his life back.
First, I was just shocked that I did what I did. I really did it almost out of a rage, wanting to all show them, and then, oh my gosh, I did it.
He made a decision when he was a kid to fight a demon. He's the one who had to go in and face that blackness. He's the one who had to say, I'm gonna fight this. And, you know, sure, he didn't run the fastest mile, but my God, he overcame and crippled a monster that crushes so many people, and he's won a gold medal.
A year later, Kyle still jumps over the wall, but now he does it for fun.
I'm in college now, and when I'm having a hard time with classes, I go, yeah, well, this is nothing. I deal with OCD.